Welcome to another edition of Carnivore Bites. I'm your host, Jeff Sherman, along with the esteemed Dr. Eric Lopkin. I think there's really, we talked obviously before we go on air, that there's really one major issue, and that is the upcoming, and, time does fly, especially the older you get, in terms of, what's going to be happening in the midterm elections. It's going to come sooner than we think. And they just had some runoff elections, and Democrats were fairly optimistic about their chances. They put a lot of effort into it, but it didn't really come to fruition, did it?
No, it didn't at all. There was special elections in Texas, and the Democrats have been obsessed with turning Texas. They think that's going to be the canary in the coal mine, and they keep getting I mean, it started with Beto O'Rourke.
Oh God, yeah, but he was. I love that you brought him up. I know I'm a little sidetracking, but what an empty suit! What an empty pair of Levi's, I should say. I mean, he has zero political. He got nothing, even for supporting Biden. He got nothing because he's such a moron.
Yeah, no, the Democrats' efforts in Texas have been a complete failure. And again, starting with Beto O'Rourke, but they keep pushing this as the canary in the coal mine. And if it is a canary in the coal mine, it's showing just how badly the Democrats are going to be going into the midterm elections.
Okay, let's probe deeper into that. Why? Here, let me just set my own little viewpoint. Is I think number one is that Trump was his own worst enemy. We've gone over that ad nauseum.
No.
But it's true. So did they misinterpret the Biden victory as a liberal victory? And that's not really what happened at all.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. The people turned out in the 2020 presidential election because they wanted to get Trump out of office, not because they were big proponents of the Democrats' liberal agenda. And the fact of the matter is, the main reason that they have had virtually no luck getting most of their agenda through Congress is because the centrist Democrats are going, no, that's not what the people want.
So how did it happen? Was it like the one from New York? Are they getting too much of the space where and moderates are really kind of being, so it's a misperception that's what people want.
It's a big
AOC I'm talking about.
It's a big misperception because here's the thing. AOC and the rest of the squad, they're big on social media. They're big on television. They're media darlings, but they are completely incompetent at actually getting anything passed. So they've had virtually no luck pushing through this massive liberal agenda because the rest of the Democratic Party is looking at this and going, no, you know what? These people are going to cost us votes. And the centrist Democrats have put the brakes on.
Okay, then why didn't Biden? He was once a centrist. What happened?
Honestly, I don't think Biden has any clue what he's doing. Biden is the victim of dementia, and he's being manipulated probably by Harris, who for the most part sides with the squad.
True. So where does this play out? The economy still could be good. No, not anything because of what Biden or Harris has done, just by sometimes timing is everything. You still think could be a shellacking in the midterms? I do, and I think the reason why is because people are really getting fed, just like they got fed up at Trump, and deservingly so. They're not digging the whole woke agenda, and you were brilliant, because I see it more often that younger people, not the millennials, but the whatever Generation Y, whatever it is,
Gen Z,
they're not into this at all. And I think the regular mainstream America's not into this. They see it as an affront, and I think they went a bridge too far.
They did. And the Democrats, I mean, let's face it, the Democrats had an uphill battle going into the midterm elections to begin with. Because one, in the past 100 years, the incumbent party has always lost the midterm elections. Whether it was Democrat or Republican didn't matter. Midterm elections tends to flip the House, has done it every midterm election for the last 100 years. So the Democrats had that going against them. Then we have the recent census results, where liberal states lost seats and conservative states gained them. So the Democrats have that working against them. Now you've got Gen Z is coming up. They're now of age to vote, and they don't like the woke agenda that the millennials are pushing. The party severely misunderstood what the 2020 presidential campaign was about. People turned out because they wanted to get Trump out of office, not because they were in favor of the woke agenda. And they're starting to see pushback on that. They've already had problems. The Democrats failed to get the seat in Georgia that they expected to get. They tried kicking out somebody. They failed to do that. They have the special elections in Texas. They failed to win there. The liberal agenda that they have been pushing is pushing people away, and that is going to bite them in the ass in the midterm elections. Chuck Schumer recently said, if the Democrats want to get anything through Congress, they've got to do it quickly because they are going to lose the majority.
Interesting. In closing, did they snatch defeat from the hands of victory?
I believe they did. They had a fantastic,
amazing
opportunity. If they had moved closer to the center rather than more to the left, they would have held on to more conservative Democratic seats. They would have gotten more of mainstream America behind them. But no, they decided to shift the other way, and they're going to pay the price.
Final question. What does this do to AOC and the squad? I think it does have implications.
Honestly, I'm not sure. First of all, with AOC in particular, it's going to depend on how New York redistricts. Because if she has to run against another incumbent Democrat, she will probably lose. But I don't know if the redistricting is going to affect her district specifically. The problem is the Democrats don't have any strong candidates to primary these people. And they're all in districts where, to pull a line from Nancy Pelosi, you could put a D on a coffee cup and it would win.
Interesting. Well, that concludes this edition of Carnivore Bites. We'll be live this Friday. We're looking to get a representative from the Republican Party on. And certainly our listeners can listen to us live and join the conversation, can't they, Dr. Lopkin?
Yep, you can join us live at 4:00 at blogtalkradio.com/Carnivore Radio.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lopkin, and thank our listeners. Take care.
You've been listening to Carnivore Bites, part of the Exvadio Podcast Network. You can catch us every week on carnivoreradio.com, exvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcast Store, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you find podcasts.